Hi everybody. So I don't know if you can hear me. Hopefully you can. I haven't got my speakers in, my headphones in, but and I can't speak very loud because Rosie is asleep. So I wanted to come in because yesterday I spent about an hour or so trying to make sense in my head of what my messaging is all about, because as happens with business and life, and when there's a huge major global distraction going on, our messaging can get a bit lost, and I certainly felt a bit lost. However, I'd been kind of working on and thinking this through in my head for the last 3 months or so, and then obviously things have changed, but I wanted to get real clarity and I just wanted to spend some time drawing it all out. So if I very quickly show you, because for me I've got one of those brains that needs to see things written and almost drawn, like I like words, but it has to be visual and representative. Now you'll have to excuse my desk, I've got tissues and everything on it, but let me just flip my screen and you'll be able to see. So yesterday, I don't know if you can see this, something's not working there, the light's a bit bad, but let me go back. So anyway, so I wanted to come and share the insight that I'd had and kind of bringing together 2.5 years of work that I've been doing to kind of build my brand and business and what Share Impact's all about. And I came down to 4 key messages that I'm going to be focusing on going forward, but they really came down as well to the 4 things that I believe successful social entrepreneurs, social enterprises really need. Hi Tracy for watching, and everybody else that's watching. So 4 things that every successful social entrepreneur and social enterprise needs, based on my experience over the last 7 years, based on my experience over the last 2.5 years working with hundreds of social enterprises and listening and speaking to lots of social entrepreneurs, whether I've been working with them or not. And so we'll go straight into them. I've already listed them, so you might be able to see them in the notes, but I've got them here as well to my left, so I'm going to be looking a little bit. But the first one is probably the most obvious and often not the problem that social entrepreneurs have, but it's having a very clear purpose. No problem there. Most of us come to being a social entrepreneur because we've got this sense of purpose. We've got a very clear idea of the vision we want to create, the change we want to create, the difference we want to make in the world. That's never the problem. The second part of this first one, though, is not just having a purpose, but actually finding a product or a service that meets a specific need, desire, or solves a specific problem for somebody or an organisation. That's often where I think there is often weakness in some brands and social entrepreneurs, that actually the product or service they're offering isn't really either the best quality or doesn't really meet a specific need. We think there's a need, or we think there's a problem, or we think there's a desire there, but we're not actually testing that out, and we create things that don't really meet those needs, desires, or problems. And I think this is really key, because if you're not really offering things that people want, need, or that helps them solve a problem, then you're always going to struggle to sell and market and get that message out there, especially if it's not aligned to your purpose. Hi Jacqueline, thanks for watching. So having a clear purpose and providing a product or service that actually really meets a specific need, desire, or solves a specific problem is essential to having a successful business, number 1. Number 2 is then the bit I see lots of social entrepreneurs falling down on. Choosing a business model that helps you generate an income whilst creating social impact. There is not one type of business model. This is where lots of people get hung up, that social entrepreneurship is one type of business, that is one type of business model, that there's only one way of doing things. There is absolutely not. There is so much diversity out there around the world about the different ways to run a social enterprise, and I think that's really exciting and super. There's a huge opportunity basically, and so but the challenge in that for us as entrepreneurs is finding the best business model that helps us start our business, but also to scale our business and generate the income that we need, essentially, in my perspective, in my view, to generate a profit so that we can really invest in that social impact so we can really make a difference on a scale that actually does make a significant difference, rather than just having like a hobby business, a nice thing to do. And I don't say this to offend people, I just mean that if you're really wanting to affect change, you have to think bigger, and you have to like flip that switch in your mind. Jacqueline is brilliant at this. Anybody that wants to really get help and be inspired and have a bigger picture about what they can actually achieve, you need to go and follow Jacqueline, because she is amazing in terms of how she's constantly kind of scaling and developing her business and the impact that she's creating. And many of you are also in this group. It's just that Jacqueline's watching, so she's reminded me. So the second one then is choosing a business model, like I just said, that really helps you generate the income you need, so that you can actually go and create that social impact that you desire to create. It is essential that you have the right business model, and that can mean all sorts of different options for you. It can mean all different types of ways to sell, different ways to generate that income. But if you haven't really got that plan in place about how you're going to do that initially, not for the long term, but the immediate steps you're going to take, it's really, really difficult. Angie says, I'm still getting my head around number one, but so useful. Absolutely, Angie. And like, we're all coming at this at different stages, and that's why I think this is really exciting for me as well, to kind of see how different people in this community will be at different stages of this in terms of where they need to kind of get their next support, do a bit more work, and really focus in on their business. So we've talked about having a clear purpose and a real product and service that solves a particular need or problem. We've talked about the second one, choosing a business model that actually helps you generate the income you need, not just a small amount, but probably making a significant amount of profit for the business so that you can invest that and create the social impact that you really want to create. Hi everybody for watching. It's great to have so many of you watching. It doesn't often happen in the afternoon. So thank you for watching. And then the third one, so we're going through 4 of the things that I've discovered, they're not actually that radical. They're the 4 things that I think, in my experience over the last 7 years, and particularly the last 2 years, working with a lot of social entrepreneurs and helping them develop their businesses. They're the 4 things that I think every successful social entrepreneur and social enterprise needs to have. So we're on number 3. And number 3 is measuring your impact so you can demonstrate the difference you make. Now, not just for the sake of having an impact report and being able to say this is what we do, but actually much more deeply than that. It's so that you can build trust and transparency with your customers and stakeholders. Because without trust, everything else that you do doesn't really make any difference, because stakeholders and customers want to know that you are actually working towards your vision or achieving that vision. They want to know that you're actually delivering the impact that you say you're delivering. And without measuring that and demonstrating that you are actually delivering that impact, it's really hard to build that trust and show that level of transparency with your customers and stakeholders. So it's really, really key. This is why, and there's lots of other reasons as well, which I'll come in in future around why measuring your impact is essential. But I think that these 2 are really fundamental. That we're not just measuring impact for the sake of it. We're measuring it because we want to build trust, and we want to demonstrate that we're happy to be transparent about our processes in how we actually deliver on that social impact. So Jacqueline said, I was telling my members similar but different for their fashion business just yesterday. We think alike. This is so key. Absolutely, Jacqueline, which is why I love what you do so much. And Angie's saying she's carrying me around while she's entertaining her son. Well done, multi-purpose. So they're the first 3. Now the 4th thing I think is probably the area when I was reflecting yesterday and doing this piece of work I've focused on a lot recently, and it's not that I'm not going to focus on this, but I'm wanting to focus on the other 3 more. So you may see a shift in the things that I'm communicating, sharing, putting out there, because I think I focused a lot on the communication side of things and helping you with building reach and influence, etc. So there'll still be some of that stuff coming, because it's definitely an essential part, and this is where most of you come to me, is because you're saying, I'm not getting sales and I don't think my audience is big enough. And it's often sometimes to do with around the communications and the marketing and stuff. But it's the other 3 things that are the fundamental bits that have to be there as well in order for you to be able to communicate effectively and build your reach and build a customer base and build your influence. So the fourth one then is what I've been saying. So communicating your social impact to build connection, nurture customers, and scale your influence. Because it's not just then, in this time, as sort of trailblazers, essentially, trailblazers for social entrepreneurship around the globe, and that's what you are, whether you like it or not. You are in a period of time where we are pushing the boundaries of what is possible in business. We are saying that the way business has been done previously is not okay, and that business needs to change, that social entrepreneurship is the new way to do business, and that we are going to be those trailblazers to test out and prove that it's possible. But you need to think bigger, because thinking at the scale of about 50k a year is not going to help you deliver the impact and create this change that we need to create on a global scale. So when I talk about scaling your influence, this isn't just to achieve and reach your customers and build your income base for your business. This is about scaling your influence to show that there's a new way to do business in your niche, in your particular sector, in the area of beneficiaries that you help specifically. This is about being the change maker in the field of influence that you have, and being an influence to encourage and support other people. So whether that's in dentistry or transport or you know, an obvious one that, you know, not so obvious, but it's obvious in terms of sustainable fashion, is huge on the agenda right now. But that's not the only industry where we're making changes and can make changes. There are social entrepreneurs in every sector of every business. In construction, I've seen some social enterprise construction companies. There is here in Wales a social enterprise transport company. We have Welsh Water here in Wales, so our utility company that provides all water across Wales to homes, to businesses, to the infrastructure, is a social enterprise. It's not publicly owned, it's publicly owned in terms of it's being community owned, and that's a social enterprise. There is all sorts of different ways that business can be run through the lens of social entrepreneurship these days. And that's where I mean, in terms of this fourth element, it's not just about communicating who you are, what you do, and why you do it to build connection with your customers and to nurture those customers and to create sales for yourself. It's also about scaling to be an influencer, to create this change collectively as a social enterprise sector. So those four things, I think, are essential to being a social enterprise and having success. Having a clear purpose, solving a specific problem, having a business model that makes you profit and enables you to actually build the social impact and the infrastructure you need to create the change you want to see in the world, measuring your impact so you can build that trust and transparency with your customers, and fourth, communicating your social impact and your story as a brand to actually build connection with your target customers and scale your influence. I hope that's helpful for you today, guys. I'm going to be talking so much more now that I've got clarity about this being my kind of area of what I talk about. You're going to hopefully see some more great content even. Stop talking about Yoda. Some more great content in all of these areas in a lot more detail over the next few weeks and months. It has been so great for me to kind of get this clarity on where I'm really heading, what my key messaging is about, and what I really want to help you guys with. Okay, this is from my experience of running a social enterprise myself, of running my business, but also helping hundreds of you actually build and develop your businesses over the last few years. And so these four key elements to me is what I really want to focus on helping social entrepreneurs achieve and deliver. So yeah, if you've got any questions about any of those things, if you're not sure where you'll maybe fit within that or where you're at the moment, then by all means get in touch. But I would love to know your thoughts. And yeah, and I would also just finally, before I jump off, I wanted to just do a very quick plug. If anybody hasn't seen, I don't know how you haven't because it's all over the place, but if you haven't seen about the free virtual summit that we've just put out with, I think we've got like 25 contributors from around the world, helping you think about how you can adapt and thrive in this current climate with the coronavirus globally, with the current economic system. If you're moving online or you're already online but you're wondering about how you actually manage your business currently, whether you've got kids at home, whether you're just a bit like, how do I sell and market at this point? Do people really need my stuff at the moment? Is it appropriate? Whatever it is, we've probably got a topic in there in the Adapt and Thrive Summit to cut for you. You don't have to watch all of them, but they're short. Most of them are short, under 30-minute videos that give you real insight from some great experts and leaders about very specific things. So if you haven't signed up, I'll drop the link in the comments. It'd be great to have you as part of that. There's new content coming out every single day, and yeah, it's a great summit. Like, you really don't want to miss out on this summit. So check it out, join and sign up and get access to those videos, and I'll see you soon. Have an amazing afternoon on this beautiful sunny day. I think I'm going to go outside for a bit. Bye guys.